My name is Thailand Pham, and I'm a writer at People Magazine. I'm here with an amazing group of restaurateurs and chefs. We've plucked straight out of the heart of the food industry, and they're incredibly inventive and creative and amazing, knowledgeable people whose brains we're going to borrow just for an hour while we discuss this topic of Asian fusion. Like what it is, what it's different, how is it different now than the Asian fusion you thought you knew, and how it's going to sort of change the culinary landscape. And basically start with what Asian fusion is. And I mean, I feel like everyone has a different definition of it, whether it's fusing cuisines that are Asian together or Asian cuisines with Western or Eastern cuisines. So please kind of describe like what you think Asian fusion is.
I think food is an expression of a chef. His life, his beliefs, his faith. That's what we are here for. So when we talk about fusions and everything, we're talking more about inspirations. That we live in a free country where we are promised freedom. So we should be free to experiment. Not necessarily positively or successfully, which we all fail many times. But I also think the most important expression of food is comfort. So if we can provide comfort, it may take any name. It is comfort.
Culinary idols or mentors or inspirations are in terms of having started your business. Is there anyone particular that you kind of drew inspiration from?
A very different inspiration. Nobody's a billionaire. All those successful people, my inspiration comes from my grandmom. She was a very bad business person. I was very young when I started my business. I was 17. And she said, oh, Viku, she calls me Viku. I make the puff breads, which are so nice. She's saying, oh, people are going to come from 60 miles just to eat your puff breads. And when people will come, we'll be so thankful and honorable that they came. We'll give them for free. We never made money. And my grandfather and my father would always say, if you want to do this charity, why don't you open a temple? Why would you call it even banquets? But she taught me a lesson. She taught me the most important lesson, which neither dynamite nor Daniel can ever teach a person or a chef. That is, with this food, you're going to connect to a lot of people. Keep it as pure as possible. It was a funny incident, which I don't want to take too much time, but it was like, we had this little diary in which we would write parties who people were booking, and we were very excited to book a party. And one day, we discovered that we've lost that diary. So me and my grandmother would sit in the banquet waiting for customers every single day that somebody will show up and say, we are having a party here. It was very sacred to me, to that waiting. Even now at Junoon, when I wait for the first customer to walk in, I think of that moment. When it was so precious to have one customer walk into my door. It was very precious because it was many years of a person who was not a business-minded person who just wanted to feed people to make them feel good. I just have a small inspiration.
Question is mostly for Vikas and Ian, and as you're not American natives. And I was curious, in terms of Vikas's restaurant here in New York, what kind of changes you felt that you might need to make for a New York consumer. And for Ian, you having restaurants both here and all over the world, like if I go into your restaurant in Barcelona, say, versus Mumbai, like what variations, if any, are you making for those cities of different palates?
When we started Junoon, it was like a few years ago when we conceptualized, me and Rajesh Bharadwaj. We were clear that, with the food, there's a long line of heritage. You can't discontinue that. I want to be more appealing to Indians, because they endorse. And sometimes when I go on the table, the Indians who got their American friends in, and they say, Vikas makes movies, Vikas, he writes books, Vikas. I say, can you stop it? It's okay. Because you touch them somewhere with comfort. We've changed a lot. There are a lot of wine programs in the restaurant. Even if you see the service of Junoon, we try to incorporate a lot of American or French service ideas into the restaurant. But I wanted to keep the food hardcore Indian. I didn't want to put anything on the menu in which my mother or my aunt comes and says, Why would you do that? You know, I don't serve beef in the restaurant. I was told I'll never get a Michelin star. I don't serve pork in the restaurant. Because beef I don't serve because I'm a mom, and pork because there's a lot of Muslims who've helped me to be here. There are a lot of chefs from those countries and those people who actually honed me and hold me close to their hearts so I could create Junoon today and I could be sitting here. But I was clear, very clear from the very beginning. I will not serve three things: endangered species, I will not serve anything which is beef related, I will not serve anything pork related. And people said, oh, nobody's going to come to your restaurant. I said, you know, at least I will feel that every night when I sleep, I feel comfortable that I did justice to the people who actually helped me to be here in 40 years. So I did not change. I would just want to be part of the group.